Hey folks, it's Jim. I just picked up some copper. I don't recommend you do that, and that's why I'm doing this video right now. But I picked some up because I got an incredibly good buy on a product that I've wanted, and the seller was dumping. So I picked it up because I wanted it. So I bought 20 pounds of copper in 5-pound blocks, and I'll get into it on this video. And all of precious metals and my thoughts and feelings and what's going on and what we can look forward to possibly going forward. With my disclaimer, it's not economics advice, financial advice, precious metals advice, advice of any kind. Seek out the proper professional advice that is right for you. This video is for entertainment purposes only. But I picked up 20 pounds, 5-pound blocks of 0.999 fine copper. And isn't that beautiful? The periodic table symbol there with all of the factors, and I really wanted it. I think it will make a great decoration or whatever, or paperweight. And but I've wanted these, so I picked 20 pounds up. Anyway, these are only 5 pounds each one. But what's going on in the world? Are we not in a global slowdown? So is copper a precious metal or an industrial metal? Is silver a precious metal or an industrial metal? Is gold a precious metal or an industrial metal? And if we're going into a global slowdown, which most of you can see, what do you think that's going to do to the prices of industrial metals? They're probably going to decline as they usually do, don't they? Okay, so then we wind up with surplus. The next factor that's going on with regards to silver and copper is, if you haven't heard what's coming out of Germany right now, they realize they need to slow their roll on the green agenda. I'm hearing more talk in Europe about slowing the roll on green agenda, and I'm even hearing the talk here in the US about slowing the roll on the green agenda. So copper is heavily an industrial metal. It was up as high as about 450 this year. It fell to 4. It's down at 350 right now. But where I like buying copper is at $2. Okay. And right now copper is selling at about 350. So how did I get this, at the price that I wanted? Well, that's just the way it goes. I do that. And if you're there with cash, you get the right buys at the right time. But anyway, not important. When this falls below, the last time I bought silver or copper rounds, they were below 70 cents an ounce. Right now, that same copper round is selling at about $2.50 to $3. Okay, and you could go to a fair or something and sell them for $5 a piece, probably. Again, not economics advice, entertainment purposes only, right? My videos. But that's basically why I purchased those copper rounds. We will never get them probably at that price again unless we go into a global hard recession or borderline depression. Now, of course, then we will, because industry slows way down, doesn't it? And especially if they're starting to move away from the green agenda temporarily. So we could wind up in a perfect storm on precious metals. Now, silver, industrial metal or precious metal? Unfortunately, the bulk of silver sold in the world is industrial. And I know many of you consider it a precious, which it is considered a precious, but the bulk of the sales in the world are industrial. If the green agenda slows down, what do you think that's going to do to the prices of silver or the need of silver, right? Okay, so now as for gold, that is a pure precious metal play and a monetary metal, isn't it? So silver used to be, but and hopefully someday maybe it will become one again. I don't know. But for right now, with all these headwinds with regards to the dollar wrecking ball going through the world and slowing the global economy, what do you think that's going to do to the price of copper, silver, and other industrial metals? Okay, the next factor coming online is the U.S. is now mining lithium, copper, and it's going to start doing a lot of other things. And remember, Canada is one of the largest rare earth depots in the world, if not the largest. Okay, and it's pretty rich mineral deposits up there. And so if Canada starts mining that, oh boy, now we're going to control price infrastructure within the Western uh, uh, block of nations. Okay, just like we're doing with oil and gas, we're now in the third shale revolution. So look out below, folks. Watch out with regards to oil. Just be careful, not advice of any kind. But with all this going on, do you think the price of copper is liable to go down or up? Silver, down or up? And gold. Let me get into gold as a monetary slash precious metal. Here's the problem with gold. It only takes one of these gold hoarding BRICS bloc nations to dump 1,000 tons into the world to completely create havoc in the gold market. Okay. And this could happen if we go into a recession or depression and one of these countries has to dump gold on the market. Oh, what do you think is going to happen to the price of gold? And it's going to happen overnight and it's going to happen radically. Okay. And that's my forecast that one of these nations is going to have to dump a heavy amount of gold into the world to either get dollars or yuan or whatever it needs to make the purchases it needs as a nation for food, fuel, whatever. And that's going to send havoc into the gold market as well. Okay. It only takes 1,000 tons, folks, for this to happen. And there's also speculation that Putin's dumped some of Russia's gold already to cover many of the needs that they have going on with regards to the Ukraine conflict. Okay. So just be aware of that. We also see that Russia's struggling in other areas. We see many nations beginning to struggle. The dollar wrecking ball is in full swing. So what do you think that's going to do if we go into a recession to industrial metals or metals that are considered industrial? Probably down. And when copper hits $2, I will be a massive buyer again. Short term, I'm only going to buy another 100 pounds of copper. Maybe I don't want any more. But those will be in singles, 1 ounce rounds. I already have a bunch, but I'd like to grab another 1,000 because I just think after we go through this cycle, they're going to go way up in value and they're not going to be able to be as easy to get, okay, because of, minting them and other things, all right? And so I'm going to grab those and I'm not going to grab any more of these. It's just something I wanted. Isn't that nice, though? That is such a nice piece and I really enjoy it. And I've wanted them and I grabbed them at the price that I wanted. Now, silver and gold, as I've shared, please be careful. There's a lot of people preying on your fears out there, but use your common sense, your prepper sense. If we're going into a recession and silver is bulk industrial for sales, what do you think could happen to the price of silver? If we're going into a major recession slash depression and all these gold hoarding nations come under extreme pressure and need food and other resources just to keep their people going and have to dump their gold for these commodities, what do you think is going to happen to the price of gold? Remember, it only takes 1,000 tons of gold dumped into the market to have a radical impact. So please be consciously aware of that. My forecast for gold is 1,500 to 1,200. If it falls to 1,200, I will be a buyer big time. I will dump a bit into gold and all at once. And I won't care if it goes up and down from there. That's my strike price. And I will take it all day long at that price, considering the Western civilization debt load. Okay? So there's my spiel for today. I just think the world is under too much pressure. The dollar wrecking ball is creating havoc all over the place, especially in all those countries that rely on natural resources for their exports, such as copper, gold, and silver. And it's going to be possibly a big problem if the West isn't consuming it. And remember, we're recession slash depression, possibly anytime, right? And then we have definitely China slowing down. And so the US will probably publish some numbers. We know Europe is slowing down. Okay, so all of those are headwinds against copper for sure. Eventually, it will be silver because Europe is now talking about, maybe we pushed the green agenda too far. And that same talk is happening in the US, people. So, silver, the bulk of silver sales, one last time, is industrial. And if that slows down, what do you think could happen to the price of silver? Again, not advice, just my personal forecasting. And I'm looking for that moment when it's going to be the perfect buying opportunity for both silver and gold, and possibly some good old copper. So anyway, I hope this has made sense to you. Remember, the dollar wrecking ball is slowing everything down. Are the metals you're trying to accumulate industrial, or are they, precious / monetary? I want you to consider all of that. And either way, what do you think, if we go into a global recession / depression, could happen to all of those metals? Hope you're all doing well. Jim out.